Hey everybody, and welcome to You Country, the country music show that's all about you. Kinda. I'm Mr. Paul Adams, and on today's show we have a man who very, very, very rarely, if ever, gets in front of the camera. You'll always catch him at UK country gigs behind the camera, and he's amassed thousands of miles, thousands of video footage, and thousands of photos of UK country gigs just for you. Will you please welcome Mr. DC Brown? Hey DC, how you doing? You all right? The reason that we're smiling is because somebody forgot to press record,
Oh,
and it was my fault. So yeah, apologies about that. So we'll go quickly back over the questions. We were having such a great conversation.
I
It's,
know.
it's, it's unbelievable. For the podcast on Spotify, it'll be absolutely fine, but for the YouTube video, it'll be slightly different. So
Well, they can have
how
the
did you
original version.
how did you get involved in country music?
So it's like 5 years ago I saw the Shires with Tom Jones.
Yeah, and what kind of thing draws you into country music? Because you do a lot of gigs with UK country. You go and travel around and watch. You said
The,
earlier on it was like 18,000 miles you've done. Is that right?
no, that was in the last month. I did
Yeah.
16 gigs, 18,000 miles, or not 1,800, not 18,000. That'd be
Oh,
far
sorry.
too. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. No, but no. Well, when it's yeah, so when I saw the Shires and they started talking about British things, which is drew me in.
And it was the relatability you said.
Yeah, it's the relatability. And so when they were talking about like Friday night fish and chips, and they're not talking like it's not talking like Americans talking about things that you can't relate to. Like I'm beers on a tailgate, which no one can really relate to.
Yeah, but they
Yeah,
can relate to a Friday night with fish and chips,
yeah.
definitely. So in it's the stories more than anything else that you.
It's the stories, and it's because I go to a lot of smaller gigs. You get to know them, and you feel like you're supporting them more.
Yeah.
It's not just some they're sending someone over off a big label and they want you to pay twice the price. Like you feel like you're supporting them. They're getting the money rather than they're getting like 10%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So do you prefer the bigger gigs or the smaller sort of venues? The smaller venue gigs are more appealing to you?
yeah. I prefer the smaller venues. I just because there's not as much talking, and
Yeah.
it's not as much talking, and I just prefer the atmosphere.
Yeah. I know we would obviously in the part that wasn't recorded, we were talking about people talking within the gigs.
Mm.
Do you think that it should fall on those people that are coming? Do you think it should fall on the fans of the gig to tell these people to be quiet, or do you think that the venue should have like a shush policy in place, like they do in comedy clubs and things like that?
I think they should do, but when you've got, I mean, it's not so bad when you're in a 20,000 seat at a stadium, you don't get the noise because it's
Yeah,
so big. But when you're in somewhere like Shepherd's Bush, which is like 2,500, you're gonna get, and it's always worse downstairs. But I think they should probably, yeah, they should. I mean, you're never going to stop them, but
no,
you should be able to say to them like, keep the noise down.
yeah. Do you think those smaller venues? I found in my own experiences, because the bar is in the same room as the stage. Do you
Mm.
think that that could contribute to the problem?
Not in the smaller venues because most of the smaller venues I go to, they have a policy where you don't talk like the Green Note or a lot of the venues in London that are so small, people just don't talk. Like
Okay,
because most of the people I go with, I know them anyway, and or they know they've paid that money to go there to see that
yeah,
artist, not just I'm going out with my mates like which you get at like bigger venues.
yeah. Okay. So sorry, it's hard to
Sorry,
retrace my steps here.
this
Sorry,
is
man.
just fine.
We'll get back to where we were shortly. So, by trade, you are a photographer, videographer.
No, I'm a land what a tree surgeon by day, and then by night I just do photography and videography. But I prefer video. I get much more enjoyment out of video.
Yeah,
The-
that was one question I was going to ask you actually. So you prefer video?
Yeah, I prefer video, but most of the time like, when I do photography is either where I'm not allowed to film because there's some venues that don't like you filming,
Yeah, yeah,
or for festivals, it's much easier to do photos. You get more coverage, and plus at bigger festivals that I don't own the copyright on the audio. I own the copyright on the video, which
yeah,
is fine, but on the audio I don't own the copyright, so I can't film someone. And plus, you only get 3 songs with most of them.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's fair. Um, so back in the day, you did a 52 gig challenge.
Yeah.
So how did that come about? And then have you got any goals to kind of replicate that?
Yeah. So, well, what was it? I think it was like 2017. After I'd seen the Shires, at that point I was going to the occasional gig, like maybe like 2 or 3 a year, and I set myself a challenge of doing 52 gigs in one year.
Right.
And yeah, 52 gigs was so basically one a week. But back then I was doing a lot more techno. Like, but I was going to see like live art. I'd always make a point of going to see like live artists that make techno or they make electronic music. And then there was the odd like country gig in there or funk.
Do you think that country has now overtaken the techno
Yeah,
gigs?
yeah. Country's overtaking the techno gigs. I still go to the odd techno thing, but most of that I'll go there for like 12 hours or like longer because it's a
Yeah, no, that's fair. So,
yeah.
what do you go like across the whole of the country when you were doing these 52 gig challenges, or what?
No, mostly it was in London.
Right. Okay.
They were all in London. I think the furthest I went maybe Brighton, but they were mostly in London because I wasn't so much of a lunatic then, like driving driving like 2 hours just for one gig and then back.
It's not a lunatic. It's just passionate.
Yeah,
A true fan.
yeah,
Um. So you were saying earlier on as well that you actually you're a music creator yourself.
yeah. So if you look up DC Brown, you'll find me on Spotify. There's I think there's 3 EPs, so there's about 12 tracks out there,
Okay.
and it's under techno music, which I was producing probably like 2012. I was signed to a label in Argentina, I think Germany, and I think there was somewhere else in Europe. I can't really remember.
So techno was doing all right for you then. It was
Well, no, I never made any money out of it.
no, but I
No,
mean, but in
it, it
followership and stuff.
it wasn't doing too bad. I mean, I played on like Ibiza Radio and like quite, but I was just lucky with some of the labels that they paid for the mastering. That was they handled most of that, and it wasn't doing too bad. But then slowly the gigs took over, and I didn't find time to because
Yeah.
when you produce music, obviously as you know, you need good 6 7 like six. I can't just keep log on for an hour. I need to sit there for like 6 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that is a very very good point. Time is
Mm.
a very very big commodity. Um, so
I mean,
we
I still have a full studio with keyboards, Ableton Push. Uh, it's like I got foam on the walls, and I've still got all the stuff that I used to produce.
yeah, and we were talking about maybe doing like a crossover, but you've tried to do the crossover country techno thing.
Yeah, I tried to do the concert techno thing with samples, but originally I tried to actually make country music, but it's when you're so used to making like four to the floor beats, it's a lot harder to. And because I don't play guitar, like I can, there's only so much you can program drums and things.
Yeah, well maybe we can get some of the acts to send you some samples and stuff, and you can.
Well, I was tempted to see if they've got the stems, and then you could then you there's possible like for remixes.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
And we were talking about as well, building your YouTube channel up as your new goal. I think that's what
yeah,
the last thing we said before I realized
yeah.
that. God.
Before you, yeah, no, my current goal is to get 1,000 subscribers, just because I think apparently the algorithm's better, so it shares it more for the artist rather than
Yeah,
me, because I can't. I don't know, again, I can't monetize any of it because I don't own the copyright.
yeah. But it's something you want to do. You want to just be able to be able to bring this to people.
Yeah, I just want to bring it to people. I mean, the other week I reached 250,000 views, which is quite a lot.
It is quite a lot.
Yeah.
So what we'll do, we'll just put the appeal out. This is like deja vu, isn't it? We'll put the appeal out.
Yeah.
Log on. We'll put the details below. Go and see DC Brown's page and follow, like, share, subscribe, and everything else. And let's see if we can get those back up to 1,000, and then come back here and then subscribe to me as
Try
well.
to, yeah.
That would be awesome. So I was going through your Facebook earlier on in your YouTube, trying to get
Mhm.
some sort of background on you, and it's immense. The amount of pages and pages and pages of photos. Is it possible to put a number on the amount of photos that you've taken since you started doing all these gigs, or photos or videos?
Uh, Probably. Well, I can say with the video, there's probably about 5,000. It's 5,200, I think, on the channel, and I probably shot probably close to 5,400. There's a
5,000 videos.
yeah.
Before we carry on with any more questions, I asked you to pick three songs for the Spotify podcast. What would be your first song, and why have you chosen this track?
So my first song would be Lisa Wright and Tennessee.
Okay. And what's
Because
your reason for choosing that?
um, I mean, I really like her music. She's not gigging as much at the moment, but there was one year where I did, I think, every single one of her shows, but
Wow.
went back when because she was my favorite artist at the time.
That's devotion for you, man.
Yeah.
So here we go. Lisa Wright with Tennessee, and we'll be right back. So welcome back. That was Lisa Wright with Tennessee. For those of you that listen on Spotify, if you haven't listened on Spotify, we can't put it on YouTube, but you can go across to Spotify and have a listen to the show there. So we've talked about the photography, the videography,
Hmm.
the tree surgery, and all
Hmm.
the other stuff that you do. So tell us about your move into management.
Yeah. Well, so that happened. I mean, I met them in September, I think 2017, or September, no, 17th of September, sometime during the pandemic, because I hosted them on the Writers Round because I was running, as most people, I was running Writers Rounds every 2 weeks online for during the whole pandemic for
Oh, okay.
writers. So, and then I met them through that, and then I think I hosted them again, and because they tried doing the whole Facebook streaming and it wasn't working with them. They weren't like getting any traction with it. And
Yeah.
then one of their friends and I suggested they move to Twitch. So then they started on Twitch, and now they're doing Twitch like full time.
Oh,
And
really?
then yeah, they do it near enough full time. They make a not too bad living out of it.
Okay. Let me make a note of that. Twitch. I've got a Twitch channel, but I've never really done
Yeah, no,
anything on it.
if you're consistent at and you're good, there are, and the good thing on Twitch is people like originals. People
Yeah.
want original music. They don't. Everyone thinks it's covers, but it's not. They want originals. They funded two albums on there.
Excellent. I will
But
definitely have to check that out.
yeah,
So how did the management role come around for that?
so we went. So I modded for them on Twitch and helped them out on Twitch, and then I've been helping out with other things like festival applications and things, and then they just suggested like would I like to be their manager.
And
Because
that was this
yeah,
history.
and that was I'd like been a fan of their music anyway, and they just literally asked because I was helping them at that point with quite a lot of things, and they literally just asked me as the manager.
That's pretty excellent. So I forgot to mention who we were talking about. That was Adele and Andy. Who I'll put a link in as well. You can check those guys out. How does the management role differ from anything else that you've done? How do you find it? Is it different, or is it just the same kind of work ethic and principle set?
Uh, wouldn't say it's too much different because I do a lot of reviews anyway, so I know a lot of people to send stuff to. I know radio DJs anyway, so it wasn't too much different because I knew them anyway. So it was just about sending press releases out.
So literally, it's just easy just to slip in there
Yeah,
and do your
well,
thing.
yeah. I mean, I've been helping out as artists before. I worked with another artist called Simon James because I helped
Okay.
him out with his album, and I think I'm probably going to be managing him soon as well.
Okay. Or is that an exclusive on the show? Are
No, I think
we allowed to mention that?
yeah, you can mention that. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
There you
No,
go.
but
You heard it here first.
no, but I write reviews and I've worked with people in the industry before, so it wasn't too much to slip into just be a manager.
No, that's good. It's good when you can sort of pick up that traction from it from something you've already been doing
Mm.
anyway. So well, I wish you all the success on that as well. So in your time of doing all this sort of stuff, have you got any notable moments? Any famous
Uh,
people that you filmed or spoke to, or any funny moments? Um, Yeah, James was a bit weird last week. We won't discuss any more of what happened to James. You can check it out on the podcast. But yeah, anything weird and wonderful
Um,
that you can tell us, obviously, without getting yourself into trouble.
Not very, no, I don't think there's anything weird. Trying to think. No, no.
Okay.
There's nothing. No, I wouldn't say there's anything weird.
Is there anything that stands out as like
Uh,
a
no, not really. I mean, I've got so many videos. I'm trying to think through some of them, but no, not really. No.
so it's all kind of equal?
Yeah, so yeah, I think it's
Everything.
everything's got kind of equal because even when like the big Americans well, when they take photos and then they share stuff, it doesn't really. I mean, for some reason, Darius Rucker follows me on Twitter.
Does he now?
Yeah,
There you go.
Darius
That's
Rucker.
notable.
Yeah, and Darius Rucker follows me on Twitter, and then obviously I took a photo of Brandy Carlisle at a festival. Now she follows me.
So could this be the next step then? Could you be working your way up to the bigger artists as well, the more world famous artists? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, possibly, but I mean, there's a and there's also T-Bay.
yes, yeah, yeah.
T-Bay, yeah, he follows 4 people on Twitter, and I'm one of them, which is really weird.
There's something about you then that they're
Yeah,
enjoying. Then
but it's like he's got like so many followers, but he only follows 4 people, and I'm one of them. I don't know why.
hey, take
Which is
everything you can get,
yeah,
man.
I'll take it, but
They
it's just
see these people that we've just mentioned. They should listen to the show and then they should support DC by getting everybody to go to the YouTube channel and follow. There you go, and subscribe. There we go. That's what we need to do.
yeah.
Right, DC. Next one. What is your next song and why have you chosen it?
Um, Probably it'll be the Shires, and I will say Nashville Grey Skies.
Nashville Grey Skies with the Shines coming up next, and we'll be back in a second. There you go. That was the Shires, Nashville Grey Skies on Spotify. If you were listening, if you're on YouTube, you won't be able to hear it, but you can go over to the Spotify channel and go and have a listen. DC, you are now sitting in our quiz booth, okay, or a question booth. It's bright and colourful. You can't see it now, but you will see it later.
Yeah.
Okay, so last week I asked James to partake in a quiz, and I completely got it wrong, and it wasn't his favourite film, and it all went completely wrong. However, this time we have got it right. So your chosen subject is
Back to the Future.
yeah. So the trilogy, yeah,
Yeah, the trilogy.
yeah.
Although I probably
Okay.
found it.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you a load of questions. You've
Mhm.
got 2 minutes in which to answer. Last week, James scored 9. So all you have to do is just beat 9. So DC, who directed Back to the Future? Was it Robert Zemeckis, Steven Spielberg, or George Lucas?
George Lucas.
That is incorrect. Steven Spielberg did get a credit on the film, though. What was it? Was it writer, producer, or special friend?
That was producer.
That is correct. What Huey Lewis song is featured in the first film? I Want a New Drug, Hit to Be Square, or The Power of Love?
Power of Love.
Okay, that is correct. Who was originally cast as Marty McFly? Was it Ricky Schroeder, Eric Stoltz, or Corey Feldman?
Corey Feldman.
It's incorrect.
Yeah.
What is Doc Brown's dog's name in the first film?
Einstein.
Einstein. That is correct. To make George McFly think he sees an alien visitor, what does Marty dress as? Madonna, Darth Vader from the planet Vulcan, or an astronaut?
Astronaut.
That's incorrect. How much power does the DeLorean time machine need? 789 gigawatts, 1.21 gigawatts, or 12 gigawatts? Or gigawatts is Doc.
12 gigawatts.
That's incorrect. What is the name of the dance that George, Lorraine, and Marty all attend? Is it Enchantment?
Enchantment Under the Sea.
That is correct. What song does Marty play to an utterly bewildered crowd in the 1950s?
Johnny B. Good.
Johnny Be Good. That is correct. What speed does the DeLorean have to travel through time?
88.
88 miles per hour. Who replaced Claudia Wells as Jennifer Parker in the second and third Back to the Future films? Was it Elizabeth Shue, Iona Skye, or Kim Cattrall?
Iron Sky.
That's incorrect. What other actor in the original film does not appear in Back to the Future 2? Is it Thomas F. Wilson, Crispin Glover, or Lee Thompson?
The first one. Yeah, the first one.
Thomas F. Wilson.
Yeah, Thomas F.
That's
Wilson.
incorrect. Where are we going? Where we're going, we don't need what? Seatbelts, Crispin Glover, or roads?
Roads. No roads.
That is correct. And that is the end of that quiz. So who directed Back to the Future? That was Robert Zemeckis. Steven Spielberg got a credit as a producer. Of course, it was on his Amblin Entertainment.
Didn't I say producer?
You did. Yeah, you got that correct.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
The Huey Lewis song was The Power of Love. Who was originally cast as Marty McFly? You said Corey Feldman. It was actually Eric Stoltz. What is Doc Brown's dog's name? That was Einstein. To make George McFly think he's an alien visitor, you said astronaut, but the actual answer was Darth Vader from the planet Vulcan. How much power does the DeLorean time machine need? You were going to say 1.21 gigawatts, but you changed it to 12, but it was actually 1.21 gigawatts. What is the name of the dance that Marty, George, and Lorraine attended? You got that right. That was Enchantment Under the Sea. What song does Marty play to utterly bewildered crowd in 1950s? That was Johnny Be Good. You got that right as well. What speed does the DeLorean have to travel through time? That was 88 miles per hour. Who replaced Claudia Wells as Jennifer Parker in the second and third Back to the Future films? You said Iona Skye. It was actually Elizabeth Shue. Which other actor in the original film did not appear in Back to the Future 2? You said Thomas F. Wilson. It was actually Crispin Glover, although they did make him look like it because they turned him upside down, didn't they? And where we're going, we don't need roads was absolutely correct. So well done, man. Seven out of however many that was. Not quite beating James, but
No.
we can come back another time and we could do it all again.
What subject did James do?
He chose the Jaws movie.
Oh, the Jaws.
So it's a Steven Spielberg theme at the moment. What's the future for DC Brown? What are we looking at coming up?
Well, the future, it might be mad, but I want to start filming in 8K.
8K.
Yeah.
My God. What are you shooting on?
So I do 4K. I do everything. Even when I was shooting on my phone, I was doing 4K. So I do 4K at 24p, 100 megabytes a second for everything.
So what camera? What camera do you use?
On the Sony RX4. So it's a single lens, so I can't change the lens.
Right. Okay. So what are you going to film on 8K? Are you going to go to an external recorder, or are you going to get a new camera?
I have to get a new camera.
Okay.
But that's like $6,000.
Okay. So we need some funding, guys.
Yeah.
To get decent.
Because the biggest problem I have at the moment is storage. I do like 11 terabytes a year.
Holy cow!
Yeah.
I thought I was bad enough with one terabyte hard drive being full up. The last question, the final question, the most important question. This seems to trigger some people. What question do you wish I would have asked?
Oh. I think you've asked most of the stuff. I think
is there any question that you wish people would ask you that they never ask?
Not really. Not really. Most people don't ask me questions. It's always interesting when I get guys coming up to me and going, like, introduce themselves, and they know who I am, but I don't know who they are. Which is
I get that just from being an ex-bingo caller. So yeah, I get that. I understand that completely. DC, thank you very much for being on the show. Sorry about my amazing cock up at the beginning. Thank you very much. And hopefully we will see you on this show very, very soon. So where are we next going to see you? Where will we be and where will you be so we can come up and say hello and you don't know who we are?
It depending when this is coming out. At the moment, there's 4 of us or 5 of us doing the whole Amelia Quinn tour that's coming out in November.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. It's a debut album, and there's 5 of us that have hired a camper van. So if you know Will, Hubby's Country, Linda, Voice of a Woman, and
Mr. Guitar, like everything.
Yeah, Mr. Guitar, which is yeah, and then Voice Woman, then Mark Dare from CMR Nashville. There's five
Yeah.
of us that have all hired a camper van and we're doing the whole tour.
So there we go. Thank you very much, DC Brown, for joining us. And that's all there is time for today's show. We've got another fantastic guest coming up next week, so we'll see you next Tuesday.